Good evening, yogis. My name is Daniel. This is Daniel Lee Yoga. Thank you for joining me for practice today. It is Friday evening. I hope you had a great week. I'm here in Baltimore. It's been a warm week. I hope wherever you're joining me today, you've enjoyed your week and are ready to wrap up with a nice flow today. So we've been working on twists this week, and today will be a level 2 focused Vinyasa flow class. 60 minutes. We'll be building off of what we've been doing this week in our fundamental and our level 1 focus with our twists in our core. So as far as just like what we're going to be working on and just extending through today, as far as with the level 2 class, we're going to move through a little bit quicker. We're not going to break down the poses as much, and we may do some more advanced postures. I still will provide modifications along the way, so just make sure that you're doing what you're comfortable with. Yeah, as far as working with the core and the twists, a big focus today will be just lengthening that low back, hugging the navel in and down, drawing the tailbone down. You'll hear me say that more than a couple of times. And by lengthening that low back, it protects the low back really. And our core is that fundamental area that connects our upper body and our lower body together. So by bringing some awareness and focus in there, it will more confidently allow us to progress in our practice and move into more poses that we want to try and get into. So we're also going to be focusing on our breath today because that's important for any yoga practice. That's important for daily life. And by focusing on the core, we're going to strengthen the abdominal muscles. We're really going to work on protecting the low back, and it's really cultivating a recentering feeling in us. So I think we're all ready. Stream looks good. Thank you all for joining me. I've got Oliver and Coney here. They look pretty active, so I'm sure they're going to make an appearance today. So one thing, if you do have a block, there they go. If you do have a block, have it handy. You can keep it up at the top of your mat. If you don't worry about it. It's not going to be super crucial for practice, but it will help. So you do just have it up at the top of your mat. And I think we're ready. Are we ready, Oliver? Let's do this. All right, let's get started on our backs. Have your legs extended out and your arms down by your side. Let your knees and your feet fall out to the side. Palms face up. Just begin to deepen your breath here. Use this as a time to transition into your practice. There's 60 minutes here on your mat. This is a time for you. You can release any thoughts that you may have or any goings on that you're taking from earlier today, and don't worry about anything you have planned for the rest of the evening or even the weekend. Just be here. And as you deepen your breathing, bring one hand to your heart and one hand to your chest. Just feel how when you take your nice deep inhales, your belly and chest rises, gently presses into your hands. And as you exhale, the air comes out, your belly and chest lowers, and your hands lower. Just take some time here to take a couple more deep breaths. As I was saying before, the breath is probably the most important part in our practice, and we can often lose track of it. What really helps us to connect to our different postures and to our mind throughout. Take one more deep inhale. And exhale. Now bring your arms back down to your sides. Gently bend your knees and hug your knees into your chest. Wrap your hands around your shins and gently rock from side to side. Let's begin by massaging that low back area. When we think about the core area, we kind of just think about the front of our body, maybe just like the six-pack area. But, it wraps around. It's got so many muscles involved, the abdominal areas, the front, the back, the sides. And so we're going to be doing lots of twisting and lots of turning and lots of strengthening today, with the goal of just bringing some more awareness to that part of our body. So come back to stillness with your knees still hugged in. And wrap both hands around your right knee. Extend that left leg forward, straighten the left leg, release the left heel to the mat. Flex both toes so they face up towards the ceiling. Try to have your left knee face up towards the ceiling as well. And gently draw the right knee in towards that right shoulder as you extend that left heel away from your body. Just be nice and long here. Just one breath. And exhale, switch. Draw the left knee into your chest. Extend that right leg forward. Release the right heel to the mat. Flex both toes so they face up towards the ceiling. Draw the left knee into your chest as you extend that right heel away from your body. Right knee faces up towards the ceiling as well. One breath. And exhale, now we'll begin to move on our breath. So draw the right knee into your chest as you extend the left leg forward. Release the left heel to the mat. And we'll switch. So left knee draws in, right leg extends, release the right heel. So now on your inhale, you draw one knee in, the other extends. And on your exhale, you switch. So again, just be very mindful of your movements here. This is an opportunity in practice to connect your breath to your movements. And also, this is the first opportunity to bring some awareness to that low back. Throughout these practices, especially on our back, you may feel your back starting to arch, and we want to try and address that by hugging the navel in and down to reduce the arch in our spine, to lengthen that lower part of our back. So keep moving on your breath. Keep your feet flexed. And just do one more each side. And draw both knees into your chest. Gentle squeeze. And now release your feet to the mat. Have your feet hip bones distance apart, knees hips width distance apart as well. Keep your left foot on the mat. Draw your right knee in towards your chest. Wrap your hands around your right thigh, and then extend and straighten your right leg up towards the ceiling. Flex that right foot so the bottom of the foot faces the ceiling. And begin to gently draw that right thigh back towards your right shoulder. Now you can have a slight bend in your knee. It's still early in practice. Your hamstrings may still be a little tight here. But try and again reach that right heel up towards the ceiling while keeping that sit bone rooted. And again, just gently draw that right thigh in toward your chest. Just stay for one more breath here. And exhale. Let's switch. So rebend that right knee, release that right foot to the mat. Hug the left knee into your chest. Wrap your hands around that left thigh and begin to extend that left leg up towards the ceiling. Flexing that left foot so that the toes now face over your head. The bottom of that left foot faces up towards the ceiling. Just start to gently draw that left thigh back towards that left shoulder, keeping the left sit bone rooted as you extend that left heel up towards the ceiling. Again, you can have a slight bend in that left knee. It's still early. Things may be tight. Just stay here for another couple breaths. And exhale, gently bend your knee, release that left foot to the mat, and just take a moment to reconnect to your breath here. So we're going to start to advance that. You can just remember that. If that's enough for you, you can go ahead and repeat that. Otherwise, we're going to move on. So start again with your knees and your feet hips width distant, knees bent. Keep your left foot down. Draw your right knee back into your chest. Wrap your hands around that right thigh. Extend and straighten that right leg up towards the ceiling. Flex that right foot. And now this time, extend and straighten the left leg down your mat and hover that left heel above the ground, maybe an inch or two. You're flexing both feet, so you're pulling both feet away from each other. You're drawing that left heel away from your body as you draw that right thigh in toward your chest. And you can keep a slight bend in that right knee. We're here for a couple breaths. Try to keep both sit bones rooted and draw that right thigh back, keeping your pelvis neutral here. And your back may start to arch, so draw that navel in and down to reduce that arch in your back. Keep hovering that left heel off the mat if you can, flexing both feet. One more breath here. And exhale, release that left foot back to the mat. Draw the right knee into your chest and release that right knee down. All right, let's switch to the other side. So again, if that was too much, just go back to what we were doing before with just one leg up in the air. So begin by drawing the left knee into your chest, wrapping your arms around that left thigh, extending that left leg up towards the ceiling. Flex those left toes. And now extend the right leg straight out away from your body. Flex those right toes and hover that right heel maybe just an inch or two off the mat. You're extending that right heel away from your body as you're drawing that left thigh in towards your chest. Keep both feet flexed. It's going to engage the muscles in your legs as we stay for a couple breaths here. Again, are you arching that low back, trying to hug that navel in and down? That starts to engage the core muscles to help out here. Stay for one more breath. And exhale, gently rebend both knees. Release both feet to the mat. So that was the second option. We're going to move and advance one more time. So if either of those options worked for you, just go ahead and repeat those. Otherwise, we're going to ramp up one more a little bit here. So starting with that right leg, draw the right knee in toward your chest. Wrap your hands around that right thigh, re-extend that right leg up towards the ceiling, press that right heel up. Extend that left leg forward, left heel hovers an inch or two. You're flexing both feet. Now again, you can stay here, or the last option here is release your arms forward, beside your hips, palms face up, and lift your head and your chest up off the mat. So you're curling up here. Try not to curl your chin too much. You still want a nice long neck here, but you're really going to feel the engagement in your abs. You'll know if you're doing it right here. You'll definitely feel it. Again, really press that navel in and down. We're here for a couple breaths, or again, your version. If you're up here with me, try to keep those shoulders off the mat. Nice tight curl here. Let's stay for two more breaths. We got it. Last breath here. And exhale, gently release the back of your head to the mat. Release both feet down to the mat. And just take a quick breather here. All right, switching to the other side. Let's draw the left knee into your chest. Begin by wrapping both hands around that left thigh. Extend and straighten the left leg up towards the ceiling. Flex those left toes. Extend that right leg out. Hover the right heel above the mat. Flex those toes as well. Now you have the option to stay here, or final option. Extend both arms forward. Keep them an inch or two off the mat as well. Palms face up. And then lift your shoulder and your head off the mat. So again, you're curling up. You're extending that right heel forward, the left heel up towards the ceiling. You're definitely curling here, but try not to curl your neck too much. Keep it nice and long, but keep your shoulders off the mat. Again, hands are off the mat as well, palms face up. Hug that navel in and down. You'll definitely feel it in your core here if you're doing it right. Let's stay for two more breaths here. We got it. One more deep breath. And exhale, gently release the back of the head, release the feet down to the mat. Let's heel toe those feet out to the width of the mat, let the knees fall into touch. Just arms down to the side. Just take a moment to reconnect here. Now, rebend those knees, hug them into your chest, wrap your hands around both thighs. We'll roll up and down our spine a couple times before coming into tabletop. If you don't like rolling up and down your spine, you'd rather just let your knees fall off to the side, just meet us in tabletop. So get there whatever way works for you. Now in our tabletop, our wrists are directly below our shoulders, knees are directly below our hips, and tops of the feet are hips width distance as well. Just gently hug that navel in and up to start with a nice neutral spine. Gaze is just out in front of the fingertips. Take an inhale here. And exhale. Let's add our cow-cats. Inhale as we drop the navel, tailbone up, heart lifts, look up. Exhale, round the back, shoulders separate, head hangs heavy, cat. Inhale, arch the back, tailbone lifts, heart forward, look up, cow. And exhale, round the back, shoulders separate, head hangs heavy. Keep going on your breath. Again, another opportunity to slow things down, make this more of a meditative process, an opportunity to connect your breath to your movement here. And now come back to stillness. Nice neutral spine. We'll add some arm and leg lifts here. Let's begin by extending the left leg back. Left heel up to hip height and extend the right arm forward, right palm faces in. If you need to, you can drop that left foot to the mat, those left toes, but otherwise keep it up at hip height with that foot flex. Take an inhale here. Now as we exhale, we're going to curl in. So exhale, curl, elbow to knee, cat pose. Inhale, re-extend, but just keep the back neutral. We're not arching here. And exhale, curl, elbow to knee, round the back. Inhale, extend back to where we started. And exhale, curl, elbow to knee. Let's do one more here. Inhale, extend. And exhale, curl. Inhale, extend for the last time on this side. And then release your hand and your knee back down to the mat. Let's switch to the other side. So again, when we're extending, we're not coming into an arch in the back. We're trying to keep it neutral on our extensions here. So extend that right leg back, right heel flexes, bring the foot up to hip height. Extend the left arm forward, left palm faces in. So again, we're not arching when we come up, we're just staying right here. Just take an inhale here. And exhale, curl, elbow to knee, round the back in your cat pose. Inhale, extend. Exhale, curl. Inhale, extend that heel away, fingers away. Exhale, curl. Inhale, extend. Let's do one more. Exhale, curl. Inhale, extend for the last time. Then release your hand down and your knee down, back into tabletop. Let's bring the tops of the toes together. Send our hips back to our heels, into our first child's pose. Release your forehead to the mat, arms forward. Again, child's pose is always an opportunity to, again, reconnect, regroup. If you need a couple moments to catch up in class, you can always come back down here and recenter yourself. Just take a couple deep breaths here in your child's pose. Re-extend your arms out if they're not already. Raise your forehead up, lift your hips back up. Come back into tabletop. On our tabletop, we'll come into our side plank variation. So keep your knees where they are. We're going to kickstand that left foot out to the side. So keep the left knee where it is, but the left foot is coming out to the left side of the mat. Curl those right toes under, extend that right leg back, and then drop that right heel down. And begin to open and stack your shoulders. Bring that right hand to that right hip. And then right arm comes to the ceiling, comes pointing up. Lift the right arm, I should say. Right palm faces in. Now we're going to add our twist here. So inhale as you lengthen. And exhale, twist. Right arm comes down and under and through under that left arm. Right palm faces up. Inhale, re-extend, bring that right arm out and up. And exhale, curl under. Inhale, extend. Exhale, curl under. Let's do one more here. Inhale, extend. And exhale, curl under. Inhale, extend out just one last time. And then release that right hand down. Right knee down. Come back to tabletop. Recenter yourself with a nice neutral spine, and we'll switch to the other side. So now kickstand your right foot out to the side. Extend and straighten. Curl the left toes under. Release that left heel down. Stack the shoulders. Start with that left hand on that left hip. And then raise that left arm to the sky. Left palm faces forward. Just take a breath here. And exhale. One inhale. We'll add our twist as we exhale. Release, twist under. Left arm comes under and through. Inhale, open back out. And exhale, curl under. Two more. Inhale, open up. Exhale, curl. Inhale, open. Left arm to the sky. Exhale, curl. I think we need one more. Inhale, open. And exhale, curl. Inhale, open up one last time. And then release that left arm down. Come back into your tabletop. Let's curl our toes under. Lift our hips up and back into our downward facing dog. This is our first downward facing dog, so feel free to take your dog for a walk. Maybe you lift one heel and lift the other. Maybe you lift one leg and lift the other. Just settle in. And your knees can still be bent here in your down dog. It's still a little early. Your hamstrings might be a little tight. And if down dog is ever too much for you, you can drop to your knees in your tabletop. You can still pedal out your legs this way as well. Now meet me back in stillness in your down dog. Knees are bent. Now inhale as you gaze forward. Bend your knees a little bit more, and exhale, walk or step to the top of the mat. Bring your feet hip width distance. Stay in your standing forward fold here. Release your head and your arms. Knees can bend. You can rest your chest on your shin. And while you're here, let's roll out our wrists a little bit. With your arms hanging heavy, just make your hands into a fist and just start rolling out your wrists. Start in one direction, both hands. And now let's switch directions. Always good to show the wrist a little bit of love in practice. All right, come back to stillness. Release your hands down. Press your feet into the mat. We're going to roll up to standing, but take your time. So roll up one vertebrae at a time. Head and arms are the last thing to arrive. Press your feet down. Start to roll up one vertebrae at a time, starting with the low back. And once you meet me in standing, just roll the shoulders up and back a couple times. And then come back to stillness. Now with our feet hips width distance, come to the top of your mat if you're not already there. Arms down to the sides. Soften your shoulders away from the back. Away from your ears. Take an inhale. And exhale. And while we're here, take your hands to your low back with your fingers facing down and your wrists kind of resting right on your hip bones. So you're at the top of your bum here, really. I want you to try and push your tailbone down. So we always say as yoga instructors to draw your tailbone to your heels, but sometimes it helps to actually have your hands and like push the flesh down. What that does is kind of start to tilt your pelvis so the back of your pelvis comes down, and then you can start to raise the front of your pelvis up. Try and take note of this, keep it where it is, then release your arms back down to the sides, palms face forward. Take an inhale and exhale. And start to warm up the rest of the body here. Let's inhale the arms out and up overhead, palms touch, look up. Exhale, forward fold, hinge forward. Inhale, halfway lift, nice long spine. And exhale, forward fold. Press your feet into the mat, coming back up to stand. Inhale, arms out and up overhead, palms touch. And exhale, hands down to the center of your chest and down to the sides. We'll add on to that. So let's inhale the arms out and up overhead. Exhale, forward fold, hinge forward. Inhale, halfway lift, nice long spine. Exhale, forward fold. This time plant both palms shoulder distance. Step your right leg back, step your left leg back. Come into our plank pose here. We holding plank for a couple moments here. You can always drop to your knees if you need to. But again, try and draw the tailbone down towards those heels wherever you are. Keep your shoulders stacked over your wrists, whether you have your knees down or up. And just gently let the shoulders fall away from each other. Hug that navel in and up. Staying for one more breath here. Now everyone drop your knees to the mat. Shift your torso forward, bend the elbows back, lower all the way to the mat. Uncurl the back toes, press the tops of the feet and the hips into the mat. And on your inhale, lift your head up and your chest up and your baby cobra. Roll the shoulders up and back, draw the tailbone to the heels. Try to keep your bottom ribs on the mat for now. Draw those shoulder blades together, elbows come towards each other. One more breath here. And exhale, gently release the forehead down, curl the toes under. Press yourself up in a downward facing dog. Come through tabletop first if you need to. Just take a moment or two here in your downward facing dog. Make sure you're pressing your chest back towards your thighs, lengthening your heels away and down. One last breath here. Now bring your feet together in your downward facing dog. So your toes touch, your heels are separated by an inch or two. And now raise your right leg up to hip height. So we were here before in tabletop, so your right leg's up to hip height, not too high. Keep the pelvis neutral. Draw the right knee into your chest, shift your torso forward, and then step your right foot to the top of the mat. So you're in your high lunge here. Now drop your left heel down, and we'll look for warrior 2 feet. So the left toe should be slightly forward of that left heel. Right toe still face forward, and look for that heel to arch alignment. You may need to heel toe that front foot over a little bit. Once you have that heel to arch alignment, raise your arms up, come into your warrior 2 pose. All right, let me face you guys. All right, warrior 2 pose here. Right knee tracks over that right ankle. Now shift the torso forward, release the right hand to the inside edge of that right thigh. And then left arm comes up to the ceiling to start. Left palm faces forward. Now keep everything as it is. We're just going to move our left arm back, down, forward, and then overhead. And then keep extending your left arm forward. So now your left bicep is next to your left ear, with the left palm facing down. Try to get a little bit lighter on that right arm. Just use it for stability. Keep pressing that right heel down. Spin that inner thigh in and up, pressing back to that outer left foot. Stay for one more breath here in your extended side angle. And exhale, gently release that left hand down. Right hand to the outside of the right foot. Come up on that left heel. Extend that right leg back. Drop your feet to the mat. Shift your torso forward. Bend the elbows lower all the way. Uncurl the back toes. Press your hips and the tops of your feet down. Inhale, lift up into your baby cobra. We'll stay here for just a breath. And exhale, gently release. Curl the toes under. Press yourself up through downward facing dog. Come through tabletop first if you need to. We'll switch to the other side. So begin by bringing your big toes to touch. Heels are just slightly separated in the center of your mat. And now lift your left leg up and back to hip height. Flex those left toes. Bend the left knee into your chest. Shift the torso forward. Step that left foot up to the top of the mat. Drop that right heel down. Right toes are slightly forward, looking for those warrior 2 feet. Heel to arch alignment. Left toes facing forward. And then inhale, both arms up. Raise the torso up into your warrior 2 pose. Keep that left knee tracking over that left ankle. Square your shoulders to the long edge side of your mat. Now extend that left arm forward as far as you can. And then release that left hand to the inside edge of the left thigh. Raise that right arm up. Right palm faces forward. Keep everything the way it is. We're just moving our right arm back, down, forward, and overhead. So it creates some nice length, and finish with your right bicep on top of that right ear. Right palm faces down. Again, try and spin this inner thigh in and up as you press that right thigh back, I should say. Keep pressing down through that left heel and press back to the outer edge of that right foot. See if you can get a little bit lighter on that left arm. Really engaging the core here to help. One more breath in our extended side angle. And exhale, release that right arm down. Come up on that right heel. Left hand down. Extend that left foot back to meet the right foot. We're in our plank pose. Drop your knees to the mat. Shift your torso forward. Bend the elbows back. Lower all the way to the mat. Uncurl the back toes. Press the tops of the feet and the hips into the mat. Inhale, lift up into your baby cobra. And exhale, gently release your forehead. Curl the toes under, lift up into downward facing dog, come through tabletop first if you need to. We're here just for a couple breaths in our down dog, so just check in. Make sure you're wrapping those triceps in, pressing the biceps out, pressing down to the base of each finger and each palm. Inhale as you gaze forward. Bend your knees, exhale, walker step to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift, hands to the shins, nice flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Press your feet into the mat. Inhale, arms out and up, overhead, palms touch, look up. And exhale, hands down to the center of your chest and down to the sides. Just take a moment here. All right, with your feet hips width distance, heels behind center, toes, arms down to the sides, palms face forward. Let's keep going. Inhale, arms out and up, overhead, palms touch, look up. Exhale, forward fold, hinge forward. Inhale, halfway lift, nice long spine. Exhale, forward fold, place your palms down, step both feet back into your plank pose. This time we're coming to our forearm plank. You can drop to your knees first if you need to, but if you want to challenge yourself without wiggling back and forth, see if you can drop your right elbow down and then drop your left elbow down and come into your forearm plank. Keep your shoulders over your wrists. And now we'll come into our side plank on our forearms. So bring your left hand where your right wrist is. Release your left palm down, raise your right hip up. Drop the outer edge of that left foot down. Right heel comes on top of that left foot. You're in your side plank. You can raise that right arm up in the air. If you need a modification, just drop that left knee down. Otherwise, see if you can keep both knees up. That right heel rests on that left heel. So we'll add some twists here, just as we had done before. So inhale, lengthen right arm up to the sky. Exhale, twist right arm down and under. Inhale, lengthen, right arm back to the sky, open up. And exhale, down and under. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, curl, right arm underneath. Inhale, lengthen. One more time. Exhale, curl. Keep hugging those hips up. Let's inhale, lengthen, stay here for a breath. And exhale, come back to your forearm plank. Stay up if you can. Drop to your knees if you need to. We'll switch to the other side. So now right hand comes under where that left elbow is. Switch to your right side now. Come to the outside edge of that right foot. Stack the left foot on top. Drop your right knee if you need to. Otherwise, stay up. And lift that left arm up to the sky. Adding our twist. Inhale first as you lengthen. Keep those hips up and exhale, left arm under, left palm faces up. Inhale, open up. And exhale, curl under. Inhale, open. Exhale, curl. Just got one more of these. Inhale, open. And exhale, curl. Inhale, open up one last time. And exhale, come back to forearm plank. Everyone drop your knees to the ground. Let your hips fall to the ground. And come into your Sphinx pose. Uncurl the tops of the toes so they face the mat. And just let your hips settle in here a little bit. In your Sphinx pose. You can gently bend your knees. Actually, release your feet to the mat. Let's make a pillow with our hands first, rest our forearms down, and then let's bend our knees. A little more comfortable that way. With your knees bent, you can windshield wiper them, and let them fall from side to side. Bring your feet back to center, release the tops of the feet to the mat. Now release your forehead down, release your arms down to your sides. Thumbs down, pinkies up, so palms are facing in with your forehead down. We'll come into our locust pose variation. So press your hips into the mat, and on your inhale, you'll lift your head up, your chest up, and your feet up, and your arms up. If you need to keep your feet down, go for it. Otherwise, if you can lift them up, lift your thighs up. Try and spin your inner thighs in and up. Try and think of getting more length here as you draw your tailbone down towards your heels. Lift those arms up, roll those shoulders up and back, broaden collarbones. One more breath here. And exhale, gently release. Come back into your Sphinx pose, elbows under the shoulders, palms down. Just stay for a moment here. And exhale. Release your forehead to the mat. Bring your hands back to the sides of your chest here. Make sure your wrists are underneath your elbows. Curl those back toes under. We're coming back up into our downward facing dog. Come through tabletop first if you need to. In your downward facing dog, inhale as you gaze forward. Bend the knees, exhale, walker step to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift, hands to the shins, nice flat back. And exhale, forward fold. Press your feet into the mat. Inhale, arms out and up, overhead, palms touch, look up. Exhale, hands down to the center of your chest and down to the sides. Just take a moment here. Now, bring your feet together at the top of your mat. Let your heels separate. Come into your chair pose. Bend your knees, hips come back, arms come forward, palms face each other. Make sure you can gaze down and still see your toes. Try and draw more of the weight into your heels. Try not to arch or round your back. Keep a nice long spine here. Stay for one more breath in your chair pose. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, nice long spine. And exhale, fold. Place your palms down, step your right foot back, step your left foot back into your plank. And now from your plank, you're going to lift your hips up and back and come right up into downward facing dog. In your down dog, bring both toes to touch again. In the center of your mat, your heels are slightly separated. Keep pressing your chest back towards your thighs. Let's lift the left leg up first this time. Bring it up to hip height. Again, see if your pelvis shifted a little bit. Maybe you can press your right heel down a little bit. You can have a slight bend in that right knee if you need to. Now let's bend that left knee into your chest. Send your hips forward, torso, shoulders come over wrist. Exhale, re-extend, left leg up and back. Knee into chest, shift the torso forward. This time left elbow to left knee. Left knee to left elbow. And exhale, re-extend. Rebend that right knee. Left elbow comes to right elbow. Left knee comes to right elbow. And now extend that left leg, straighten it. Let the outside edge of that left foot come to the mat. Release the inside edge of that right foot down. And come into your fallen triangle, arm in the air. Now you can stay here if you want to challenge. You can try and lift that left leg up off the mat. Try and hug that left femur into that hip socket. Stay for one more breath wherever you are. If that leg is up, drop that leg down. Release the right arm down. Come up on that right heel. Rebend that right knee into your chest. Re-extend that left leg up and back. And then left knee draws back into your chest. And place that left foot to the top of your mat. Stay in your high lunge here. Now place your right hand under your right shoulder. If you need a block, you can place a block under that right hand. We'll add a twist. So let's twist from the navel up. Lift the left arm to the sky. Left palm faces forward. Try to spin and raise that right thigh up. Keep that left knee tracking over that left ankle. Maybe you twist a little bit more from the navel up. One more breath here. And exhale, gently release that left arm down. Release your block off to the side. And step the left leg back to meet the right leg. Drop your knees to the mat, shift the torso forward, bend the elbows lower all the way to the mat. Uncurl the back toes, press the tops of the feet into the mat, hips into the mat. Inhale, lift up into baby cobra. Or maybe you start to straighten your arms into full cobra or half cobra with your elbows slightly bent. Keep drawing those ankles in towards each other, tailbone towards the heels, heart lifts. Roll the shoulders up and back, stay for one more breath. And exhale, gently release. Curl those back toes under. Lift your hips up and back in a downward facing dog. Come through tabletop first if you need to. Now bring the feet together again. We'll switch to the other side. So in your down dog, toes touch, heels are slightly separated. This time we'll lift our right leg up and back to hip height. Again, recenter, make sure your pelvis is still nice and neutral. Bend that right knee into your chest, shift your torso forward, shoulder over wrist, shoulders over wrist. Now inhale as you re-extend, right leg up and back, three-legged dog. Exhale, right knee to right elbow, shoulders over wrist. Re-extend, come back into three-legged dog. And now exhale, right knee to left elbow, shoulders over wrist. Then shoot that right leg off to the side. Let the outer edge of that right foot drop, inner edge of the left foot drop, and then raise that left arm up to the sky. You can stay here, or if you'd like, try to raise that right foot off the mat. Hug that right thigh in. Stay for a breath wherever you are. And exhale, gently release that right leg if it's up. Release the left hand down. Come up on that left heel. Draw the right knee into your chest. Re-extend back into three-legged dog. And then right knee bends, shoulder over wrist. Release the right foot to the top of the mat. Now from here, again, if you have your block, you can place it underneath that left palm. We'll add a twist here, so if you don't have a block, you can place your palm to the mat or fingertips. Keep hugging both thighs in towards the midline, twist from the navel up, and then raise the right arm up to the sky, right palm faces forward. Maybe you gaze to look up at those right fingertips. You can keep firming those thighs in towards the midline. Try to raise that left thigh up towards the sky. Press the left heel back, stay for one more breath. And exhale, release that right hand down. Step the right foot to meet the back foot. We are in our plank. Drop the knees down, shift the torso forward, bend the elbows back lower all the way to the mat. Uncurl the back toes, lift up into your version of back bend. Maybe come all the way up in an upward facing dog with your legs off the mat. So at the tops of the feet. And the hands are the only thing on the mat. Otherwise, just stay in your version of cobra. Other way, rolling the shoulders up and back. One more breath here. And exhale, gently release the forehead down. Curl those toes under. Press yourself up into downward facing dog. Come through tabletop first if you need to. Just take a breath or two in your down dog. Now inhale as you gaze forward. Bend your knees, exhale, walk or step to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Press your feet into the mat. Inhale, arms out and up, overhead, palms touch, look up. And exhale, hands down to the center of your chest and down to the sides. All right, make sure you're still at the top of your mat. Feet are together, heels are apart. One more series here. You're going to like what we do on this next one. All right, so again, top of the mat, toes are touching, heels are separating. Arms down to the sides, roll your shoulders up and back. Take a breath here. Come back into your chair pose, rebend those knees, send the hips back, arms forward, palms face each other. Adding a twist here, bring your hands to the center of your chest. Inhale as you lengthen. Exhale, twist from the navel up to your right. You can stay here, or you can drop the outer edge of that left elbow to the outside edge of that right knee. Draw that left hip back wherever you are. It probably came forward so that you can keep those hips squared to the center. Again, drawing weight to the heels. One more breath here in your twist. Now exhale, come back into your chair pose with your hands to the center. Inhale as you lengthen. And now exhale, twist to your left. So again, you can stay up. You can drop that right elbow to the left knee. Either way, hug that right thigh back. Probably came forward. And try and twist from that navel up. One more breath here in your twist. And exhale, gently release back to center. And release into your forward fold. Hinge forward. Inhale, halfway lift, nice long spine. Exhale, place your palms down. Step your right foot back. Step your left foot back into your plank pose. Let's lift the hips up and back. Come into your downward facing dog. And then bring your big toes to touch again. Heels separate. You're in your down dog with toes touching. Let's start with the left foot again. So raise the left hip up to hip height. We're only drawing the knee forward one time this time. So bend the knee, shift the torso forward, shoulders over wrists, and then drop the left foot up to the top of the mat. But drop the right heel down, come into your warrior 2 feet again. Heel to arch alignment, right toes are slightly forward. Lift the torso up into your warrior 2. Make sure your shoulders are square with the long edge of your mat. We'll come into that extended side angle again. So shift the left arm forward, release that left hand to the inside edge of that left thigh, and then right arm just comes directly over and extends with that right bicep on top of the right ear. So we're in our extended side angle with this support here. Now, if this is enough for you, you can stay here. Otherwise, press your heels into the mat. Try and roll this thigh in and under, press that right thigh back. Really engage your core, and this time we'll lift the left hand, send it forward, left palm faces up. So now you're extending both arms forward. We're at the beach. Just imagine you have a beach ball in between both hands. Keep holding here. One more breath. And exhale, turn and gently release both arms down to the mat. Come up on that back heel. Send that left foot to meet the back foot in your plank. Drop your knees down, shift the torso forward, bend the elbows back or all the way to the mat. Uncurl the back toes, lift up into your version of back bend. Baby cobra, full cobra, or upward facing dog. And exhale, gently release the forehead down. Curl those back toes under. Lift your hips up and back into your down dog. Now bring the toes to touch again, heels separate. This time I'll lift the right leg up and back to hip height. Bend the knee into your chest, shift the torso forward, shoulders over wrists. And release that right foot up to the top of the mat. Drop that left heel down, look for that heel to arch alignment. Now press your feet into the mat as you lift your arms up, torso up into your warrior 2. Make sure your shoulders are squared with the long edge of your mat. Right knee tracks over that right heel. Now shift that right hand forward, torso comes forward, release that right arm to the inside edge of that right thigh, and then left arm comes forward, down, and stays overhead, extends long, left palm faces down. So that left bicep is over that left ear. Spin this inner thigh in and up, and press that left thigh back. Keep pressing down through that right heel. Engage those abdominal muscles. You can stay here, or if you'd like, add that right arm, extend it forward, grab your beach ball, right palm faces up. Keep extending, try to twist a little more too also, your entire torso. One more breath here. And gently release both arms down. Come up on that back heel, send that right foot to meet the back foot. Drop your knees to the mat, shift your torso forward, bend the elbows back or all the way to the mat. Uncurl the back toes, lift up into your version of back bend. Just stay for one more breath here. And exhale, release down to the mat. Curl the toes under, lift up into your down dog. Our last down dog of the day here. So just gently shift forward, release your knees to the mat. Tops of the feet to the mat and touch. Let's shift our hips back, come into our child's pose. Forehead down to the mat. Hips back towards the heels. Just take a couple more moments here to reconnect as you deepen your breathing. One more breath here. And exhale. Begin to lift your forehead up, lift your hips up, come back into your tabletop. And then let's send our legs off to the side. Legs are in front of us, keep your knees bent. With your knees bent, wrap your hands around your thighs and let's gently roll onto our backs. Just take your time rolling back. Once you're on your back, just heel toe and walk those feet back underneath your knees. So ankles underneath, feet and knees are hips width distance. Arms down to the sides, palms face down. Coming into our bridge pose, press down through the feet. Inhale as you lift your hips up, pelvis up, chest up into your bridge pose. You can roll the shoulders up, back, and under if you'd like, and even clasp your hands underneath your hips. Try to bring your pinkies to touch the mat. And for everyone, the knees like to separate out, so try to spin the inner thighs in and down. Draw that tailbone towards your back of your knees to create length in that low back, not to crunch there. Draw your chin away from your chest and your chest towards your chin. We'll stay for one more breath here in our bridge pose. And exhale, gently release your hands if they're clasped. Release the shoulders out and gently roll down from the top of your spine. Low back is the last to arrive. From here, you will heel toe your feet out to the width of the mat. Let your knees fall into touch. Gently let your knees rock from side to side. Keep your feet wide. Just easing out that lower back. Now come back to center with the knees touching. Heel toe the feet back to hips width distance. Separate the knees. Arms down to the sides. Now we'll add our spinal twist. If you have a different variation that you'd like, you're more than welcome to do that. You're always more than welcome to do that. Otherwise, if you're following along with me, you're going to draw that right knee into your chest and send it over that left knee. Now shift your hips to the right and then let your knees fall off to the left side. Right arm extends out to the right, left arm to the left, both palms face up. Whatever twist you are, with your dropping your legs to the left, try and keep that right shoulder rooted. Gaze is up towards the ceiling, or turn your neck to look over those right fingertips. Full spinal twist here for a couple breaths. Gaze comes back up towards the ceiling. Release your knees back up to center. Untwist the knees. Release both feet to the mat. Recenter the hips. And now lift your left knee into your chest. Left leg comes over the right knee. Shift your hips to the left. And then drop your knees to the right this time. Again, with your arms out to the side. Both palms facing up, either to a T shape or a field goal post. Try to keep that left shoulder rooted on the mat. And turn your neck if you'd like to look over those left fingertips. We're here for a couple more breaths in our full spinal twist. Just one last breath. Look back up towards the ceiling, bring both knees back up. Unwind, bring both feet back down to the mat. Arms down to the side. Let's hug our knees back into our chest. Wrap your hands around your shins. You can stay here if you'd like to come into happy baby. Knees will separate. Tops of the feet come towards the ceiling. And then your hands can try and grab the outside edges of your calves, or they can grab the outside edges of your feet. Try and have your elbows inside your knees, whatever you grab. So you're either here or you're here with your arms inside your knees. Draw those feet or your legs down. Draw the knees down, really, towards the mat if you can. And try to keep that low back on the mat. You can stay here, or if you'd like to rock from side to side in your happy baby, go for it. Last little massage of that low back. And come back to center. Bring both knees back into touch. Hug the knees back into your chest. Raise your head and your shoulders off your mat. Give a nice tight squeeze. So squeeze everything in towards each other. Flex those feet. Draw the knees in. One last breath here. And exhale, extend. Stretch those legs out in front of you. Arms come overhead. Point the toes. Extend the feet away from the body. Fingertips stretch away from the body as well. So nice full body stretch here. Stretch, stretch, stretch. And exhale, gently release. Arms come down to the sides. Palms face up. Let the knees and the feet fall out to the side. Coming into our Shavasana pose here. Final pose of the practice. Use this as a time to check in with your body and release any last little bit of tension you may hold. Maybe your toes are still a little curled, you can release them. Shoulders might be a little tight, soften them away from your ears. Just let your body hang heavy and melt into the mat here. You can let your eyes soften or your gaze close. As you release any last bit of control you have over your breath as well. Just be. begin to bring some awareness back into your body. Maybe you wiggle your fingers and your toes. Rotate your wrists and your ankles. Switch directions in those rotations. And then come back to stillness for one last breath here on your back. And just gently bend your knees and roll over to one side of your body. Let your top arm come to rest on your bottom and your top knee resting on your bottom knee. Stay for a breath here on your side. Now, either keep your eyes softened or your gaze closed as you use your top arm to press yourself up to a comfortable cross-legged seated position as we complete our practice today. Once you find your comfortable cross-legged seat, palms can either rest on the knees, palms can face up, or bring your hands into the center of your chest. Let's take a nice deep inhale together and exhale. Thank you for joining me in practice today. The light and love in me acknowledges and honors the light and love in each one of you. Thank you. Peace. Thank you all so much for joining me on this Friday evening. I know this was a tough class, but hopefully you got through it. Hopefully you got something out of it. I really wish you the best and hope you can take whatever feeling you have right now into the weekend and really enjoy. I will be taking next week off from classes, so no classes next week live. You can always watch my videos on YouTube. They're all uploaded and saved there to rewatch. There's plenty of other instructors as well to watch and catch. So I'll be back the following week in mid-June. I'll post updates on Instagram as well, so you can follow me on there. All my contact info is in the video description. If you always have any questions, you can reach out to me there. You can leave a comment, anything like that. I always welcome feedback. I really appreciate you all. And thank you so much. So again, my name is Daniel with Daniel Lee Yoga, and I will see you next time in practice. Have a wonderful weekend. Peace.